Have you ever wondered about the history of the Arab-Israel conflict? It's a tangled web of historical events, cultural clashes, and political maneuvers, all deeply rooted in the heart of the Middle East. This conflict has not only shaped the region, but has also significantly influenced the geopolitical landscape of the world. The story of the Arab-Israel conflict originates from the late 19th and early 20th centuries, a time of great change and upheaval. As we move forward, we encounter the establishment of the State of Israel, a pivotal event that stirred the pot of already simmering tensions. The narrative unfolds with a series of major wars, each leaving a significant imprint on the land and its people. And of course, history doesn't stop, and neither does our story. In recent years, there have been significant shifts in the dynamics of the Arab-Israel conflict, events that continue to mold the present and future of the region. In this video, we will unravel the chronology of events that have shaped the Arab-Israel conflict. The seeds of the Arab-Israel conflict were sown in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The stage was set for this conflict with the emergence of two powerful ideologies, Zionism and Arab nationalism. Zionism, a Jewish nationalist movement, was born out of the desire for a Jewish homeland in the land of Israel, a response to centuries of persecution. On the other hand, Arab nationalism was a wave of awakening that swept across the Arab world, a desire for independence from foreign domination and unity among Arab people. But the story gets more convoluted with the Balfour Declaration in 1917. This was a letter from the British Foreign Secretary Arthur Balfour to Lord Rothschild, a leader of the British Jewish community. In it, Balfour expressed Britain's support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. This was seen as a betrayal by the Arab inhabitants of Palestine, who constituted the majority of the population at that time. Then came the British Mandate for Palestine, an instrumental piece in this historical puzzle. Post-World War I, Britain took control of Palestine with the approval of the League of Nations. The mandate system was devised to administer parts of the defunct Ottoman Empire, which had controlled the Middle East for over 4 centuries. However, the British were walking a tightrope, trying to keep their promise to both the Jews and Arabs. The British promised the Arabs independence if they revolted against their Ottoman overlords during World War I. Simultaneously, they also promised the Jews a homeland in Palestine through the Balfour Declaration. This dual commitment was a ticking time bomb, setting the stage for future conflicts. The British tried to appease both sides, but neither the Zionists nor the Arab nationalists were satisfied. Jewish immigration to Palestine increased during the interwar years, exacerbating tensions with the Arab populace. Arab leaders felt betrayed and feared they would become a minority in their own land. With the end of World War II, these simmering tensions came to a head with the creation of the State of Israel. The ignition of the Arab-Israel conflict was sparked, and the Middle East was set on a path of decades-long strife. In 1948, a new chapter in the Arab-Israel conflict began with the establishment of the State of Israel. This monumental event was not without controversy, as the United Nations had proposed a partition plan for Palestine in 1947. The plan, which sought to divide Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states, was welcomed by Jewish leaders but rejected by the Arab leaders and Palestinians. The establishment of Israel on May 14, 1948, signaled a decisive shift in the region. Yet this was not a peaceful transition. It ignited the First Arab-Israeli War, also known as the War of Independence for Israelis, and the Nakba, or catastrophe for Palestinians. This war saw the neighboring Arab states, including Egypt, Jordan, Syria, and Iraq, invade the newly formed state of Israel. The conflict was fierce and bloody, resulting in a significant loss of life and displacement of people on both sides. However, the most profound consequences were felt by the Palestinians. Hundreds of thousands were forced to flee their homes or were expelled. This event, known as the Nakba, marked a tragic period of displacement and loss for the Palestinian people. The war ended in 1949 with armistice agreements between Israel and its neighboring Arab states. Israel had managed to not only defend its territory but also expand its borders beyond the boundaries set by the UN partition plan. This outcome, however, only further fueled tensions and set the stage for future conflicts. The 1948 war was just the beginning of a series of conflicts in the region. It shaped the political, social, and geographical landscape of the Middle East and sowed the seeds for the ongoing strife we witness today. The following decades saw a series of major wars that further deepened the Arab-Israel conflict. Let's begin with the Suez Crisis in the mid-50s. An international conflict, it was sparked by Egypt's nationalization of the Suez Canal, a vital waterway controlled by British and French companies. Israel, along with Britain and France, launched a military campaign against Egypt. Although they initially succeeded, international pressure led by the United States and Soviet Union forced a withdrawal, marking a shift in global power dynamics. Next, we have the Six-Day War in 1967. It was a swift and decisive victory for Israel, which seized the Sinai Peninsula and Gaza Strip from Egypt, the West Bank and East Jerusalem from Jordan, and the Golan Heights from Syria. This war significantly expanded Israel's territory and marked a turning point in the Arab-Israeli conflict, as the question of these occupied territories became a major international issue. Then came the Yom Kippur War in 1973. Egypt and Syria launched a surprise attack on Israel on Yom Kippur, the holiest day in the Jewish calendar. Despite initial gains, the Arab forces were eventually repelled and a ceasefire was negotiated under the auspices of the United Nations. This war, while not altering the territorial boundaries, led to a shift in the political landscape, with Egypt moving towards peace with Israel. Lastly, an important aspect of these wars is the status of Jerusalem. From King David's conquest around 1000 BC to the present day, Jerusalem has been a city of immense religious and political significance. The partition of Palestine by the United Nations in 1947 and the subsequent wars have only intensified the contestation over this city, making it a crucial flashpoint in the Arab-Israeli conflict. These wars significantly reshaped the political landscape of the Middle East. In recent years, the Arab-Israel conflict has seen some significant developments. The Oslo Accords in the 90s were a ray of hope, marking the first face-to-face agreement between the government of Israel and the Palestine Liberation Organization. But this hope was short-lived as the Second Intifada, or uprising, erupted in the year 2000, devastating the region with a wave of violence and bloodshed. The new millennium also bore witness to numerous conflicts in Gaza, with the most recent in 2021. These conflicts, often marked by rocket fire and airstrikes, have further deepened the chasm between Israel and Palestine, making the road to peace seem ever more elusive. Yet, amidst these challenges, certain strides towards normalization have emerged. The United Arab Emirates, for instance, became the first Arab nation to sign a free trade agreement with Israel, marking a significant shift in their relationship. This development is expected to boost trade between the two nations, and perhaps, in the long run, help to foster a climate of mutual understanding and cooperation. But numerous ongoing issues still cast long shadows over the region. The Israeli settlements in the West Bank continue to be a point of contention, seen by many as a violation of international law. The status of Jerusalem, a city sacred to Jews, Christians and Muslims alike, remains disputed, and the question of Palestinian statehood still hangs in the balance, with the dream of a two-state solution seeming more and more distant. Despite many hurdles, the quest for peace in the region continues. The road ahead may be steep and fraught with obstacles, but the hope for a future where Arab and Israeli children can live side by side in harmony remains alive. The history of this region is a testament to the resilience of its people, and while the path towards peace is not linear, the journey, no matter how long, continues. The Arab-Israel conflict has shaped much of the history of the Middle East in the past century. From its roots in the late 19th century through the establishment of Israel and the series of wars that ensued, to the recent developments and potential paths forward, we've navigated the intricate timeline of this enduring conflict. Each chapter has its own set of complexities, with implications that reach far beyond the borders of the nations involved. As we continue to witness the unfolding of this narrative, remember, understanding the history of the Arab-Israel conflict is crucial to comprehending the present and building a better future for the region.